Hello, my name is Jules. I am the guy behind VrTracker, which is an open source 3D position tracking system for virtual reality. Today I'm going to show you how to install the cameras and how to set up the brightness and make sure they are in a good environment. The first thing you want to make sure of is that when you put the camera somewhere, it shouldn't look at a light or a window because they emit a lot of infrared light. And this is something you want to avoid because it would bring perturbation in the tracking. Another thing you want to avoid is to put the camera face to face because it will give problems in the tracking algorithm. So just those are the two things you want to avoid. Okay, also you will want to put them as high as possible so they look down on the user. So just don't put them at the user height because otherwise you can easily mask the tag. And this is also something you don't want. I've already set up one camera and we're going to set up the second one and we'll go through all the steps. Okay, so first thing you want to do is just put your camera and plug it in and see if there is any perturbation or not. Here is the camera holder. Here it is made of two brackets. One is for the camera. So first you can plug it in. This is a micro USB cable and then you can put it into the bracket. Okay. So now what you want to look at is that there is a red light when it is tracking some infrared. So for example, I'll take this tag. This is infrared tag. So if I put it in front, there is the red light on. But if you have a red light on when the tag is off, this means that you have infrared perturbation. So you want to remove them. Two ways to remove them. Either you have to rotate the camera and position it in a certain way so it doesn't see the infrared perturbation. Another way is to set up the luminosity. So this is not automatic yet, but you can set it up using Piximon software that will see right away. Okay, so here we go. First you want to plug a USB mini port into the back of the camera. So just be careful, you're not plugging it into the USB micro port, which is for programmation and the alimentation, but directly into the Pixie PCB, which is right there and go through the small hole here. Okay, so it is plugged in. We can put it there, and I'm gonna plug it in the computer. Okay. Now you have to start Piximon, which is the software made by Pixie Charm Labs, the guys who made the camera. So I'm going to start it, Piximon. You just have to be careful that you have the good version of Piximon, otherwise it will give you a message saying that the version is not compatible with the camera firmware. Okay, so it tells you that the Pixie is detected, and you can start looking at the video. It's gonna be very dark because there is a filter so you don't see light that your eyes can see, but it will see infrared light. The tag is on right here, so you can see it. So first thing we can see is that it is very out of focus, so we can just turn around the lens so we can get it in focus. Okay. Okay, that seems to be much better. Now, second thing we want to do is set the luminosity. To set the luminosity, we have to get in the parameter, because right here you see I was talking about the windows, and the windows, they emit a lot of infrared light. This is because of the sun, while the tag is not that bright. So here is the exposure. This is the parameter you want to play with. So far it's at 19, which I think is gonna be enough, but we don't want to point the camera at the windows, but that's gonna be pretty okay. So this is okay. It is still a bit out of focus. When you try to make the focus of the camera, make sure that the camera is looking far enough, because if you focus on a point that is at a few centimeters, it will be out of focus at like 2 meters. So you want to check a point at 2 or 3 meters to make your focus. Okay, so that is good. We can unplug it and then install it. Okay, so now both cameras are installed, one here and the other one right there. And the last thing we want to do is make sure that the position and the orientation of the camera are correct So what I usually do is that I take one tag, I turn it on, and I move around in the room with the tag about the height where it would be on a virtual reality headset. And I look at the cameras. So on the camera you can see the red light turning on when the tag is detected. So I just move around and I see where the detection is lost for each camera. For example, here I know that this camera, it loses the detection. It doesn't lose it yet, but here it stopped detecting. So this is where I can go with this camera. Okay, I can move around. I move around in the room, and if I need to correct it, so both camera look at the same space, I just rotate the camera and I start over. It takes a bit of time to have a good installation, but this is something that you have only to do once, and it is required to have the best tracking as possible. So try to take your time to set this up, and then you won't have to touch it at all anymore. Okay, now in the next video we'll see how to calibrate the cameras. There is a calibration sequence, and it takes also a little bit of time, but this is necessary, and this is something you only do once. We'll see that in the next video.